What will you learn? First, we will talk about low fidelity design versus high fidelity design using Figma, and we will talk about how can you implement the high fidelity design in our app. We will talk about architecture and how can we architecture our app using the application idea we have written down. We will localize our app to multi-language, so you can add any language as long as you know how to translate it. We also will handle the permissions, since we are going to work with camera, and camera is sensitive data, not sensitive data as more it's more sensitive components which require care when working with, so we need to handle the permissions. And we will talk about how does QR code work, and we will use this article to explain how can QR code work. We will talk about user interface and learn a lot about the bottom sheet and pager layout, which is a view pager in XML if you know it. And we will have some simple animation in our application. We will make adaptive layout for other screen types, where you can have like a larger screen like tablet have different layouts than normal phone. And we will talk about theming and material design components. We will work with side effects as disposable effect and launched effects. They are both important side effects that you need to understand. And we will talk about some technology based on Android. We will work with navigation component for navigation to multiple screen or from a screen to another. We will talk about the differences between preference data store and proto data store and shared preference. We will also make deep linking so we can communicate with other apps, and if you have your own website you can communicate with your own website. And we will use Google's machine learning kit for barcode scanning, which is a third party provided by Google. We will also use Camera X, so we will integrate Camera X with Google machine learning kit of barcode scanning, so we can scan our QR codes. And for dependency injection, we will talk about manual dependency injection and Dagger Hilt framework, which we are going to use in our application. Also, we're going to use Dagger Hilt in our testing. For the design patterns, we have talked about two important design patterns. One is called factory design pattern and strategy design pattern, and I have explained them briefly in the course. For the testing, there are a couple of testing knowledge that you're gonna learn, but as of now, as of this moment of recording, which is equivalent to like 210 220 video, we don't have the testing recorded, but we have the testing available on the GitHub. I will leave the link of the GitHub repository which contains the testing on the description. We have instrumentation testing, which we are testing the user interface. We will test whether the screen is large or small, and based on the specific screen size, we will show the correct visualized user interface. We will also talk about unit testing and implement unit test, and we will talk about test coverage and how it's important. And unit testing is being tested on local Java virtual machine, so it doesn't really need Android component. And we will test quarantines as well. We will also make test doubles, which are being used in our testing cases. And so that's all for what you will learn. Now let's talk about requirements. What's the requirements for this app? For you to start this course and make this app, first you need to have Android Studio. Right now I'm using Dolphin version. You can use like newer version if there are newer at the time you're watching this video. You will also need internet connection. You will need laptop or PC. And there is also prerequisites which you must need to know for you to have a fundamental or better understanding for this course. You will need to have basic Kotlin knowledge, you will need to have basic understanding of state, and you need familiarity with Jetpack Compose. Once you have these prerequisites and you have the requirements, feel free to start the course, and I hope you can learn from this course.